What is going on, guys? Zuko back with another Dragonflight video. Hope you're all doing very well. Grab your coffees. We're going to talk about the Idol of N'Zoth build that I'm working on right now. So yesterday's video that I put out talked about a plethora of different builds that I think are going to be coming in 10.0.5 for Shadowpriest. So I think once 10.05 hits, which is actually in a week. I think in the last video I said it was in 2 weeks. It's on the 24th of January. I mean, today's like the 17th, so it's in a week basically. I think that there's going to be a lot of builds shifting towards Void Torrent. Void Torrent is a really incredible spell. It's getting buffed in terms of its damage. So the damage that you see right here is actually not reflective. It's less than what it's going to be in about a week. Also, if you didn't know, that our Psychic Link, is now going to proc off of Void Torrent and Mind Games and then Void Bolt from Void Eruption. But the build that I was looking at specifically did not take Void Eruption. What it's going to capitalize on in about a week's time is it's going to capitalize off of the Mind Games AoE and most importantly the Void Torrent splash damage that's happening from Psychic Link. So none of the changes are in yet. This is live, this game, and I wanted to just try this build to see like how it worked and if it could do damage before the buffs even come in. So this is kind of what the build looks like. And what I did wrong in the dungeon actually is that I had only 1 point in Inescapable and 2 points in Mind Devourer. And I want to talk about this point for a second. I think that with a Void Torrent build, you can absolutely get away with only having 1 point in Mind Devourer and 2 points into Inescapable Torment. I had it the other way around in the dungeon because I was worried about, I wanted to make sure I had enough Mind Devourer procs, but now that I'm looking at it, I think you only need to put 1 point into this talent, and here's why. Void Torrent does a ton of things. Number one, it does crazy single target damage, so it's going to buff your single target damage, which is great. In a week's time, when it scales off of Psychic Link damage as well, it's going to do crazy AoE damage as well, which is also amazing. But the third thing that's actually probably the most significant thing is that it generates 60 insanity over the duration of its channel. That is basically the same thing as getting a free Mind Devourer proc. It is. It's the exact same thing. It doesn't generate 100 insanity, I know that, but realistically, at all times, you are going to have more than 0 insanity. I would say on average, by the time you're done channeling a Void Torrent, you will be at maybe 80 to 100 energy, and I'm going to actually try and insanity. I'm going to try and show you that right now. Why do I say that? Well, because you're going to have your dots rolling, and your dots are generating insanity as well. Also, if you cast Dark Ascension, you're going to generate 30 insanity. There's so many other ways to generate insanity, and basically by the time you start casting Void Torrent, it's going to get you to a full bar of insanity, which you can then use on Mindseer. So it's as if you got a free proc on Mindseer from Mind Devourer. Basically, is what the equivalency there, okay? So here's let me just show you this right now. Let's just do this into a Void Torrent. By the time Void Torrent's done, we're sitting at 75 and it's going to go up there. It's at 100 already. Boom, right there. So one channel of Void Torrent will basically get you to 75, sometimes 80 insanity. So that's why I'm saying that even though it says here on the tooltip it generates 60 insanity, you have passive generation happening elsewhere. You could just press one Mind Blast, and you would get the rest of the way there. So taking 1 point out of Mind Devourer is fine because you're getting a proc for free from Void Torrent. That's what's happening. You're getting a full bar. It's actually better than 1 proc from Mind Devourer because on single target, if you get 1 proc of a Devouring Plague on single target, that's great. You saved yourself 50 insanity, but this basically gets you 75, 80 insanity. And so it's almost getting you all the way to a second Devouring Plague proc, which is really good in single target. So the flexibility of Void Torrent, I think, is incredibly strong, especially when you pair it with Malediction, which gives it a 30-second cooldown. So every 30 seconds, you're getting basically a full bar of insanity, which is probably better than 1 point in Mind Devourer. I think it really is. So remember to always weigh these things, right? To be like, okay, we don't ever want to take a point out of Mind Devourer if we can help it. But what does Mind Devourer actually do for us? It actually gives us free insanity. It essentially generates 50 or more insanity for us. If we're using a full Mindseer proc, then it generates 100 insanity. So it's very strong. But this thing generates 60 to 80 to 90 insanity over the course of its channel. So it's basically the same thing. Very good, especially every 30 seconds. Love it. And then there's Idol of N'Zoth. And let me show you what I did overall here. We did an Algeth'ar Academy plus 18. I did 73k overall. And look at Echoing Void. It did 5.5% of our damage. I'm telling you guys, this build essentially works right now on the live servers. In a week's time, all the damage that I did from Void Torrent is going to splash. 60% of this would splash into Psychic Link damage, right? So 60% of 6.61 million is roughly an extra 3 million damage. But again, it's splashing to multiple targets, so I can't even really calculate what this would be. But it would probably be at least another 3 million damage on Psychic Link, okay? So just keep that in mind, that this build did about 73k overall, which is fine for what we're what the keys that we're doing right now. And it's just going to get better. It's just going to get better next week. The damage of Void Torrent will go up, and it's going to cleave with Psychic Link. So really, really crazy stuff. Honestly, pretty pumped about this build. Let me skip way ahead here to the first pack. That's probably good there. And let me get my webcam up. And I got to move my webcam because it's totally in the middle there. So here's the opening pack of the Algeth'ar Academy that we did. So, yeah, bear with me here as I set this all up and get it going. The damage is really good. I got a proc here, and then we had to dodge the green stuff. I got another proc, which is good. I had to pop drums there. Okay, so we're doing like 150. We almost get up to 200k. I think we... Again, imagine next week we get to 200k here. This would be like 300k next week. I'm dead serious. In patch 10.0.5, this will be like 300k DPS or more with this huge pack. Because my Mind Games is going to splash, which I cast here, and my Void Torrent would splash, which I also cast here. So, wow. I got jumped on there. That was really funny. I just got jumped on. But the damage is really strong. It's really strong with this build. You're still running Dark Ascension plus Mindbender, so you've got the Dark Ascension, Mindbender, Inescapable Torment, Cleave damage going on, which is very strong. And then you're obviously getting big Mindseers going on. Here's a Mindseer into a Mindseer. Got 100, yep, into a Mindseer, and I got to cancel it early, and I can finish it off there. But then we get our Void Torrent. Look at my energy. My insanity goes right back to full. Look at this. So I can only channel half a Mindseer there, and then I'm like, well, Void Torrent's back. I'm going to press it. Boom, boom, boom. I'm up to 100 insanity again, and back into a Mindseer. So this is really what you can kind of expect out of this build, is to be able to pull off these kinds of combos where you do like one Mind Blast or one Shadow Crash into a Void Torrent, you will be at full energy. I promise you. It's ridiculous. Also, with the 30-second cooldown on Void Torrent because of Malediction, it means that you can fit a Void Torrent. You're guaranteed to get a Void Torrent into every single Dark Ascension window, which, again, doesn't matter right now. But next week, all Psychic Link damage, remember, all Psychic Link damage is non-periodic damage. So your Void Torrent that you're channeling, the channeling doesn't get buffed by Dark Ascension, but the splash damage that it's going to produce will get buffed by Dark Ascension. So just keep that in mind, okay? Now, we're figuring out how to do this Ancient boss. We got to make sure we're stacking the right way. I think we die here. Let me just make sure. This is the big flop in the dungeon, I think. Again, we're doing like... This is... Okay, here's the other big buff I wanted to talk about. Did I pop it early? No. So, this is pretty cool. I have my Mindbender. I didn't get my Mindbender right away. I failed super hard there. Didn't realize it till just now. Super sad. That's okay. Then, right before Germinate happens, I channel a Void Torrent here. And again, this is the other great flexibility with Void Torrent is, guess what? It buffs your single target damage. It's huge. Imagine right now if I could cleave it with AoE damage. Oh my god, our damage would be so crazy, dude. It would be so crazy. Anyway, it's fine. You got first kick? It's fine. It's not a big deal, but this is what's so great about this style of build is that Void Torrent is filling so many... It's solving so many problems for you. It's got that single target damage. It's going to cleave AoE damage next week, and it generates a full bar of insanity. It really does. At the end of the day, that's what it does. So, that's just like a crazy combo. That's so good. Here's the difficult part of this boss fight. My Dark Ascension's coming back right now. My Mindbender's not up, though, because I mistimed it earlier, so my damage is going to be absolutely terrible here. Big mistake, but I get some good Mind Sears in there. Pretty good. Then we get some inescapable torment damage once all the ads are dead. That's when you wanted to be doing AoE damage, once the ads are dead, of course. Germinate comes back again. We start running the wrong direction. That was my fault right there. 100% my fault. I ran the wrong way. My brain just wants to run clockwise, but we're supposed to run counterclockwise. Try to get your dots out on everything here. Burst forth. The Steril's doing a great job. I do think we die here, though. Let me just make sure. Yeah, we get one death there, and then it all goes down. Joe dies. So we have to run that fight again. So that's okay. Let me zoom ahead. We end up doing... Oh, yeah, we go clear trash here because we have lust. We won't have lust up. So, again, it's just like... I think this build, overall, the thing that you would say is the weakest part of this build would be Idol of N'Zoth, because it's something that we just haven't used in a while. Everybody said it's really terrible. It's kind of not, guys. It's not. Like, I think it's better than Yogg-Saron for sure. That would be my kind of assessment. And the beauty of this build that we're running now is that you have to go get Void Torrent anyway. You don't have to get Malediction, which gives it the 30-second recharge time. You don't have to do that. But I think it's worth it with this build. And if you're going to get Malediction, then you might as well just spend one extra point and get Idol of N'Zoth, which is going to do all that splash damage. Idol of N'Zoth, of course, has very little value in single target. I understand that. It still does do the Echoing Void thing, and it collapses on itself. It does a little bit of extra single target damage. But really, the value, of course, is in AoE. Look at that tight stack. This is way better. Then I pop everything here. We give PI to, I think, the Demon Hunter. I think that was the best play. Our damage pops off here. Really good. 2 Mind Sear procs in a row. Doing good. Trying to do priority damage on the Ancient Branch. You want that thing to die. Joe kites it at the last second. Really good tanking by Joe. Good healing by Asterial here. We're at 144k. And then, yeah, Sarah tells us to stack again. Good call. Let's make sure we stack for Germinate. Then we're rotating counterclockwise. Thankfully, my brain was working this time, and I did it correctly. Shadow Crash is back, and Void Torrent is back next week, man. I'm telling you, next week I would have just went right into Void Torrent there. Even though we would have overcapped a little bit of Insanity, it would have been worth the damage, I think. Geez, that would have just slapped, man. It would have been so much damage. Joe's getting absolutely trucked. And again, next Germination here. This Germination's easy because the ads don't move. Lots of Mind Sear damage. This Germinate's scary because it has Burst Forth and the ads are moving. They're going to start killing Joe. Very scary moment right here. We need, like, AoE stuns, which I don't think we're using. Joe's just kind of tanking everything because he's an absolute beast. I get some Halo damage in there. Not really sure what I think about Halo. I like Halo. It's good. I wonder if Divine Star's better, though. Something I'll have to think about. Yeah, like, this build only gets better next week. Or is it? I hope it is next week. I keep saying next week. I hope it is. We end up getting him down. Really good. Here's single target here. Pure single target. So we go Dark Ascension into Mindbender. And then I channel Mind Sear because I'm stupid. I don't know what just happened to my brain right there. Really, really bad stuff. I'm channeling Void Torrent. I'm going to pop Fade. Oh, no, I popped Dispersion here to take 0 damage and stay in the fight. I didn't have anywhere else better to go. Not the best thing. You want to just outrange this guy and keep casting. Don't be stupid like me. I don't know why I'm standing in melee. I'm a melee player at heart, but this damage could be a lot better. I could be definitely doing over 40k. I'm just kind of not playing this properly. But again, the 30-second Void Torrent is really going to help you on these kinds of enemies, like the elites that are scattered throughout a dungeon, like Halls of Valor, right before the Herja. Right before the Herja boss fight, there's 2 single target elite enemies you have to kill, right? Again, Void Torrent's going to help you massively in this situation. So, yeah, let's just skip ahead, though. We got the birds here, and we'll get to the boss fight. This is single target boss fight. Let me skip ahead. Here we go. Here it comes. So, again, I think I played this a little bit better. PI, Dark Ascension into Mindbender, throw out Shadow Crash. Mind Games into Mind Blast. We're trying to trigger the Mindbender right now. That's what we're focused on, and then I need to get into a Void Torrent.
3, 2, 1.
I was kind of tracking our buff, so I was really distracted. Otherwise, I could have played this a lot better, and I should have already pressed Void Torrent. So I'm making mistakes here. I'm making mistakes because I'm not used to having Void Torrent on my bars, and I know a lot of people are frustrated with it. But we're doing 60k, man. Not bad at all. This is good. This is what you want to see. But this is one of those fights where, again, Void Torrent is really helpful at buffing your single target damage. You just have to make sure you use it. I definitely wasted an entire, like, 30-second window there almost not pressing Void Torrent. So, big mistake on my part. Don't do that. But, again, you're going to have to get used to having Void Torrent as a part of your rotation. It's just not something I've played with the entire expansion. So, you know, I'm bound to make mistakes with it right now. So, now we're going to throw... We waited a little bit. Astera was asking us to wait before we threw the fire thing, which is, again, stuns the boss. I popped Dark Ascension here probably a little bit early. You want the boss to be stunned for your big damage. And it's getting stunned now. So this is okay. We're in our Dark Ascension window. We're kind of capitalizing on this a little bit, but I went a little bit early, I would say. But our damage is back up to 56k, 57k. Big buffs right now because the boss is taking extra damage. I'm trying to clear. There we go. We can clear. Deafening Screech, very annoying for us, but less annoying on this build than, say, a Screams of the Void Cthulhu build where you're just channeling Mind Flay the entire time. You know, if you don't, you know, a lot of our stuff's Mind Seer, so Void Torrent is back. I need to press it right now, but I'm not pressing it again. There, I finally press it, but then I get interrupted because I mistime it. So again, we're gonna have to get used to this together, guys. You know, you can flame me all you want, and it's fine. Go ahead and do it. But the reality is, I just have not played with Void Torrent all expansion. Very interesting to try and get used to it. So you're gonna have to get used to the timings, just like I am. We'll all get better at it. Then we're proccing the wind here. Then I go pick up my windy buff. I don't want to die though. Be very careful. Now we're doing extra damage. Lots of haste. We're popping off here. Look at how quick we can go. I'm trying to just position myself correctly. We're sustaining almost 50k here, and I'm playing it kind of like a bonobo. I'm not doing a very good job, but it is what it is. Doing my best here. Trying out this new build. I did pull in Sarah there, I think, to clear our buff. Really, really good. You can use Leap of Faith, guys. It's, you know, on pugs, they might hate it, but we had 4 seconds to clear our buff. She seemed like neither of us really understood where the other person was, so I just clicked on her unit frame and yoinked her so I could clear the buff. It's better than us dying. Don't, you know, just do it. If people get mad at you, that's their fault. And then I get silenced because I'm an idiot. We're still sustaining 50k somehow because the game loves me, I guess. There's Halo. And there you go, the boss dies. So, again, with this build, in AoE right now, Void Torrent isn't giving you any extra damage, but it will next week, and holy crap, it's going to be such a priority button that we're going to need to press. I'm very, very excited about the build. I just think it's amazing. I'm going to actually skip ahead to the final boss here. We had a tougher time of Xmas, but we got through Xmas. We mistimed this key just by a little bit. I think we're like 5 or 6 minutes by the end. We were off, but that's okay. We're just like, we're kind of working our way into this level of keys right now. This is an 18, so it's quite difficult, and we didn't have like a super big plan at the beginning. I used my fear here to stop the spins. Remember, you can do that. Yeah, the whirlwinds, guys, you can interrupt them with the fear. Very good. We had double priest, so we could do that. That's probably one of our best AoE CCs that we have together. I'm doing 135k AoE, guys, on like 5 targets with a build that has Idol of N'Zoth in it. So, like, this works right now. It works right now. 140k on 4 targets. Like, it's good damage. It's good. It works right now. It's gonna work even better next week. All the shades are so nice. I can't wait to get rid of Spiteful. One of the last things I'll talk about here is that before we get to the final boss and I review everything, is that Void Torrent also is going to have more value this week. You're probably watching this. You're watching this on Tuesday. We have now flipped, I think, to Tyrannical. So again, this is going to have even more value on Tyrannical weeks. A 30-second Void Torrent for Tyrannical bosses, you're going to need it, man. You're going to need that single target damage badly. So even better for this week on Tyrannical when the boss fights just last forever. You could probably get like 4 or 5 or 6 Void Torrents into a single boss fight if you prioritize it. 30-second cooldown. Think about how long Tyrannical boss fights last. They probably last for like 5 minutes. That's like 6. Wait, 2, 4, 6. Yeah, that's 10. You could get maybe like 8 or 10 Void Torrents into a boss fight. I'm dead serious. Like, think about how much damage that is. Mine does about 70k right now. So, you know, 7 times 10, that's 700,000 damage. You know, just in one ability. Plus, you're getting all the insanity, of course, as I said. So, this is the build, guys. This is the Idol of N'Zoth plus Malediction Void Torrent build with Dark Ascension. So here's the two pieces of the build. We have Dark Ascension plus Mindbender still, doing all the inescapable torment damage. And then on the other side, we have Void Torrent plus Malediction plus Idol of N'Zoth, giving us some extra damage. So again, just to review, Void Torrent really going to help us with single target damage. Next week, guys, when 10.05 drops, it's going to help us with AoE damage as well because of Psychic Link. Absolutely crazy. I'm taking Malediction to get that 30-second cooldown. I need to be better, play better at prioritizing the cast of Void Torrent to really make sure that I'm getting the most value out of Malediction, because I definitely messed that up a little bit in this dungeon, but something to keep in mind. And then finally, the big change that I would make, the talents that I was running here were 2 points into Mind Devourer and 1 point into Inescapable Torment. I would reverse that. Go 2 points in Inescapable Torment and 1 point into Mind Devourer. It's going to serve you a lot better, I promise. It'll be so much better for you. So I just don't think you're going to need those free procs on Mind Devourer as much, because Void Torrent itself will provide you with the extra insanity that you're required, and it's going to give you basically a free proc, which is so good. So good. So I love it, guys. Love this build. Can't wait to try it out next week when it just gets even better, but I'm going to continue trying it this week on Tyrannical. I'm just going to see how it goes on some high Tyrannical keys this week. So if you want to tune in and watch me on the stream, twitch.tv/ZukoVibes, come check it out. We're going to be trying some Shadowpriest stuff. I got some rating, even though we didn't totally time that, but we're going to be pushing big keys this week. And yeah, I can't wait to do it, guys. So thank you so much again for watching. Let me know what you think about the N'Zoth Void Torrent build. Love to hear from you in the comments down below. Yeah, I'll catch you in the next one, guys.